Good evening, I'm Haley Wilgus.
I'm Scott Dennis. Thanks for being with us tonight.
Our top story, a Palmetto woman arrested after authorities say she lied about being pregnant to a local adoption agency.
Over the course of 5 months, the woman received more than $300 in assistance from the agency. ABC 7's Kate Flexter joins us live from the Manatee County Sheriff's Office with the details of this case. Kate?
Good evening, guys. This woman now faces charges of adoption fraud, and the sheriff's office says this type of crime is actually fairly common. It was October of last year when 41-year-old Rebecca Freeman contacted Family Creations Adoptions in Bradenton saying she was pregnant and willing to put the child up for adoption. A report from the Manatee County Sheriff's Office says a pregnancy test and ultrasound confirmed that was true. But over the course of 5 months, Freeman began dodging appointments while still receiving significant financial assistance from the agency for rent, health, and comfort items.
She continued to get financial assistance even though she was no longer pregnant.
It wasn't until she was booked on an unrelated charge in early March of this year that the agency discovered she was no longer pregnant.
It's routine to do a test at that time, and it showed that she was not pregnant.
Attorney for Bond of Love Adoption Agency Susan Stockham says adoption fraud is somewhat common, adding there are ways to cheat the system.
It's not unusual. It seems to pop up in the news about once a year somewhere around the state.
She says it can be devastating for a couple going through the adoption process to be a victim of that fraud.
Having someone that scams them is really to them like having a miscarriage all over again. They end up on that roller coaster with a fatal crash.
The best way to prevent it, she says, is staying in touch with the mother often and watching out for any red flags that could point to adoption fraud.
If they're frequently missing medical appointments, if they're asking for dollars, then you either have someone who has some lifestyle, maybe with some substance abuse, or they're just really not interested in making an adoption plan and they're scamming, and then we often choose not to work with them.
We did reach out to the agency involved. They said they can't comment on any individual cases. Reporting live in Manatee County, Kate Flexter, ABC 7, your Suncoast News.
Thank you, Kate. Donna Betts, the wife of Allman Brothers Band founding member and guitarist Dickie Betts, was ordered to pay $180,000 bond and granted supervised release. Betts made her first appearance in court today. She is charged with 18 counts of aggravated assault with a firearm. According to the Sarasota County Sheriff's Office, rowers with Sarasota crew were getting into the water with their boats at Spanish Point on Monday. Deputies say Betts walked onto her nearby dock and pointed a rifle at 18 rowers and threatened to shoot them if they came on her property. The judge also told Betts she could not have contact with anyone from the rowing team. She's also required to wear an ankle monitor and submit to random drug testing. Her trial has been set for May 5th.
The owner and operator of an assisted living facility in Bradenton is now facing a hefty fine. Earlier this month, Rudy's Agape House on 18th Street West only gave its 15 tenants, their families, and the staff hours to leave the premises. The Florida Agency for Healthcare Administration has now issued a $12,500 fine on the facility's owner, Nancy Cushman, for failure to provide proper notification of closure to the residents. The Department of Children and Families has also opened up its own investigation. The house served patients who have had a hard time getting into other assisted living facilities.
An early morning fire heavily damages a North Sarasota home. The 3-alarm fire broke out at the home off of Nogales Drive near DeSoto Road around 6 o'clock this morning. The fire apparently started on a boat and camper and then spread to the home. Everyone did manage to get out of the house safely, and they were out by the time fire trucks arrived. Firefighters were able to rescue a turtle and a guinea pig. 2/3 of the house was saved. The cause of the fire is still being investigated.
A free downtown shuttle service is now available in Sarasota. The electric shuttle carries passengers around downtown Sarasota as well as the Rosemary district. The low-speed electric vehicles are eco-friendly and are meant to ease some of the traffic congestion that we can see in the area, especially during the peak of tourism season.
What I'm doing right now is giving rides, free rides to people. They can call the number on the back or get an app. The app is coming later on soon. We provide those options in this vicinity. We have a big area that we cover, and we can take them to many great places for basically free.
Shuttle will run from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. daily, and for those looking to go to the downtown farmers market, the service will start at 8 a.m. on Saturdays. And to take advantage of the service, just hail a vehicle on the street or give them a call. The number listed there on the bottom of your screen. Good service.
Not a bad deal. Yeah, especially when it's crowded and you can't find parking.
Exactly.
That'll
Be
work.
an issue.
Yeah.
All right, warm weather again here on the Suncoast today. I guess if you're inland, it was especially warm. Here's Bob with more.
That's right. Can't find much parking on the area beaches today either. It's a beautiful day today. It continues a stretch of gorgeous weather here, and it's 78 degrees right now. A little bit of a west-southwest wind at 10 to 11 miles an hour. The pressure 29.98 inches. Still pretty high. It's getting bumped around a little bit by an approaching storm system. 86 right now in Tallahassee. Look at this. 89 in Orlando, though much cooler right near the coast. In fact, it's 78 in Sarasota, 10 degrees warmer in Arcadia. Now it's at 88 degrees, so that sea breeze has made it inland, but not that far. It's now 79 in Port Charlotte, the same in Palmetto and Anna Maria at 75. That same storm system that produced all the tornadoes yesterday, not moving much. It's a cutoff low, but the cold front is now moving through Houston, bringing some big storms there. We'll let you know about those storms and where they may be heading coming up in just a few minutes. Back to you.
All right, Bob, thank you. A disturbing incident in Washington, D.C. today when a car runs into a police vehicle near the Capitol.
The stressful situation sent tourists running and forced office buildings to be put on lockdown. ABC's Lana Zach has the details on this security scare.
The springtime routine at the U.S. Capitol suddenly disrupted as the sound of gunshots tore through the air.
I was shaking, my husband was shaking, and he quickly grabbed me. We ran up the steps here and got behind one of these columns, in case there would have been more shots. We didn't know who was doing the shooting.
Capitol Police instructing tourists and staffers to get to safety. After an erratic driver near the Capitol smashed the car she was driving into one police vehicle and came close to hitting other officers on foot.
A car sped by us extremely quickly, high speed, and right behind it were quite a few police cars, marked and unmarked.
Just 1 week after the deadly act of terror in London, officials have been on the alert for vehicular attacks here, especially around high-profile targets like the Capitol, concerned about other would-be terrorists or otherwise disturbed copycats.
They train for it constantly, so they have to stay focused but not get distracted and be mindful of the fact that this could be more complicated than what they're seeing right in front of them.
Fortunately, in this case, the initial evidence points elsewhere.
Although preliminary, this incident appears to be criminal in nature with no nexus to terrorism.
The suspect was taken into custody as the White House praised Capitol Police.
It's reassuring to know that so many brave men and women are willing to put their lives on the line to make sure that the city stays safe.
The incident took place here in the shadow of the Capitol Dome, and at that time of day there would have been tourists and school groups with children, which is one of many reasons why the Capitol Police sprung into action. Reporting from Capitol Hill, Lana Zach, ABC News.
An Orlando state attorney says her decision not to seek the death penalty may compromise public safety after lawmakers proposed to cut her office's budget. On Monday, House Republicans released spending recommendations that slashed $1.3 million and 21 jobs from State Attorney Aramis Ayala's budget. Ayala came under fire earlier this month after she announced she would not seek the death penalty in the case of Markeith Lloyd or any other case. Lloyd is charged with killing an Orlando police lieutenant and his pregnant ex-girlfriend. Governor Rick Scott took the Lloyd case away from Ayala and reassigned it to a neighboring prosecutor.
A Florida House panel is giving a thumbs up to a bill that includes some of the strictest controls on Florida's medical marijuana industry. The proposal would initially limit growers. It would also prohibit smoking of cannabis products as well as edibles and would ban all but terminally ill patients from using vaporizers to consume medical marijuana. The legislation is supported by many of the same organizations that fought against Florida's medical marijuana amendment. Ben Polera, who was the campaign manager for the Political Action Committee that backed Amendment 2, harshly criticized the plan.
This is a piece of legislation that is not representative of the will of the people or the constitutional amendment, which was passed by 71% of us.
The legislation would also maintain a required 3-month relationship between patients and doctors before healthcare providers could order marijuana treatment, something critics say is detrimental.
Still to come in your Suncoast News tonight, the push to solidify privacy protections on the internet, what some are calling the first step to allowing internet providers to sell the browsing habits of their customers.
And ABC 7 Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan will be back with your full weather forecast. Plus later in Health Smart, a genetics discovery that may help develop and treat certain types of cancer.
There's a whole new way to bank with Achieva Checking Plus. You get new features like cell phone protection for 3 phones, plus an interest-bearing account. And that's good to know. Discover all the benefits at achievacu.com. Achieva, banking for good. Achieva Credit Union is federally insured by the NCUA.
With a top prize of $10 million, the new $10 million world-class cash scratch-off from the Florida Lottery is your ticket to take on the world. $10 million world-class cash scratch-off from the Florida Lottery. One of our life-changing scratch-offs offering billions in cash prizes.
Today, everyone is looking for more fashionable choices in flooring than ever before. And G. Fried has responded with a huge selection of carpets, tile, wood, laminate, and vinyl. Installed by a highly skilled team, G. Fried has got everything you're looking for and more. The next time you think about quality flooring, think G. Fried Flooring America. G. Fried Flooring America. Our world is at your feet.
Welcome to the White Buffalo Saloon, where you can dine, drink, and dance the night away. Now introducing a new menu and daily happy hours. Oh, and we also cater and deliver. The White Buffalo Saloon, Sarasota's hottest country dance venue.
This is an important medical announcement. Bard IVC filters have been linked to punctured veins and problems with migration. Anyone who's received a Bard IVC filter must receive medical monitoring and may be entitled to substantial compensation. If you have the Bard Recovery G2 or G2 Express filter, you are in a class of patients who should be compensated for some expenses. Call now for a free assessment of your case and potential money damages. This call is confidential. There's no cost and you may be eligible. Juries have awarded millions of dollars to people who should have been warned about the risks of the Bard IVC filters. Call the IVC Filter Hotline if you or a loved one has received an IVC filter and experienced a vein puncture or required medical monitoring. You must call now.
Call 800-329-3089. 800-329-3089.
I'm Haley Wilgus. Wildfire warning. Weather conditions are creating a major risk. Find out what you can do to prevent fires and protect yourself.
Tonight on ABC 7 News at 7, your Suncoast News. We're here for you.
There's a whole new way to bank with Achieva Checking Plus. You get new features like full ID theft protection, and that's good to know. Discover all the benefits at achievacu.com. Achieva, banking for good. Achieva Credit Union is federally insured by the NCUA.
Regulations passed under the Obama administration meant to protect the privacy of internet users have now been overturned by Congress.
ABC's Marcy Gonzalez explains what this means for you.
Every online search, each app opened, and every location where your phone pings. Information cell phone and internet service providers can collect and sell without your knowledge. FCC regulations passed under the Obama administration sought to stop that, with a measure requiring internet service providers to get users' permission before sharing those personal details with advertisers and other third parties.
Americans' private browser history should not be up for sale.
But after some impassioned moments Tuesday on Capitol Hill,
why would you want to give out any of your personal information?
Congress voted to overturn that proposed block.
The joint resolution is passed.
Those who voted to eliminate the regulations claim the rules would have added costs and unfairly favored certain internet service providers.
Consumer privacy will continue to be protected and will actually be enhanced by removing the uncertainty and confusion these rules will create.
But others are concerned this strips privacy protections for consumers.
I feel like our rights are flying out the window. It's not okay.
The proposal's now heading to President Donald Trump for final approval, the White House saying it strongly supports the repeal.
When we do, we sign it, I'm sure we'll have further details on why.
And experts say one way to try to keep your information private is to read the fine print of your internet and cell phone agreements and ask if you can opt out of sharing your personal details. Marcy Gonzalez, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Fire officials are reminding people on the Suncoast to be extra vigilant and avoid lighting fires during this dry season. Sarasota County fire officials burned 12,000 acres last year in an effort to prevent wildfires. The prescribed burns are meant to get rid of any underbrush that would be easily flammable if a wildfire should spark. But after a recent 7,000-acre fire in Collier County and a smaller 4-acre fire at a park in Venice, you may need to take extra precautions to keep your family and home safe.
This fire season's shaping up to be fairly busy. We haven't quite reached the peak of it yet.
They want to keep the vegetation around their house trimmed back, at least a minimum of 30 feet. You don't want to, and if you're going to barbecue, you don't do it underneath your awnings, don't do it underneath trees.
Coming up tonight on ABC 7 News at 7, we'll take a closer look at Sarasota County's plan to prevent wildfires this spring, because we know it has been just extremely dry.
It has been.
Yeah, and I show an index once in a while during this time of year. In April and May, the typical 2 big months for wildfires here in brush fire season. And we look at the duff layer. It's called the duff layer. It's about 8 inches up from the surface, and that is where the fire spreads too. It's just not on the vegetation. It's also on the ground and the leaves that have fallen. And if the number gets above 500, it's considered dangerous. Let's take a look at those numbers right now, and you can see the areas in yellow and red and orange. That's the area that's very dry at the surface, and when a fire gets going, it spreads on the surface, not only the vegetation, and the numbers keep getting higher. We do have some rain on the way, but you can see those numbers all above 500 here along the west coast of Florida. They continue to climb, too, each and every day, about 5 points on the scale that you see here, depending upon the humidity in the atmosphere. So we'll have to look out, especially into April and May and even into early June sometimes. And as storms move through, they too can produce a few lightning strikes, and lightning is always a concern with individual and isolated storms. There's a slight chance for a few of the isolated storms to move through late Friday, but not much. Nice sunsets last night set in. Appreciate all those great photos coming in from the Sun Coast. Again, we are looking at patchy fog overnight, just a little bit of fog, especially inland areas, and it'll be the radiational fog, so it'll burn off quickly throughout the day on Thursday. And then a few showers are anticipated on Friday from this system now moving through Houston. And then the weekend is looking good. So the front will come through. It won't really cool us down much. It will dissipate. High pressure will build in quickly, and it should make for a good weekend. Well, the satellite and radar imagery is showing the storms not nearly as intense as they were yesterday at this time across Texas, but there are tornado watches out. The area of low pressure is really a cutoff low, meaning it's not going to move quickly off to the east, so it's taking its time right now. And it looks as though we will see a little low pressure develop along that front and bring us a chance for showers Friday. 78 right now. It's nice and comfortable out there, especially near the coast. Winds out of the west-southwest at 11. The pressure 2998, and that is still high, but falling slightly. 86 in Tallahassee, still 89 in Orlando, 81 in the Keys and in Miami. And temperatures near the coast into the mid to upper 70s there from Cortez southward to Inglewood. Braden, you're at 78 degrees and 88 degrees now in Wauchula, 89 in Sebring. And look at that, 90 at Lake Placid. Temperatures really heating up inland. The forecast for Thursday, it looks pretty much what we saw today, although we will see a little bit more southerly wind, and that will bring the humidity value up a little bit. You'll notice that in the afternoon and evening as the high pressure gets shifted off to the southeast. Well, nationally, that low pressure area which brought all the tornadoes to Texas is still very active this afternoon across parts of East Texas, but not nearly as much as it was over West Texas. Some big storms now firing up just to the east of Houston. There is a tornado watch now. This one, just a new one, has been issued for parts of Arkansas, stretching up into Missouri right now and also into eastern Oklahoma. There have been some reported tornadoes. There's one right now active into eastern Texas, just to the northwest of Lake Charles and well east of Houston, moving off to the northeast. The RPM forecast model for us is showing another beautiful day for us tomorrow. Lots of sunshine, but here comes the front. You can see it rather active across New Orleans and then intensifies somewhat over the Panhandle, then falls apart as the area of low pressure will move well north of the front. It will come down on Friday, bring with it some clouds and maybe a few scattered showers around, but we're not anticipating a wide rainfall event with this one at all. Winds a little bit stronger tomorrow for boaters. We'll start off at 5 to 10, but end up to 15. Seas will be running right around 2 feet with a moderate chop in the bays and inland waters. The high tide upcoming at 3:01 and a low tide at 9:05. Tonight, some fog, mainly inland, 63 for a low. Otherwise nice. And for tomorrow, great day for a game, 81 degrees for a high. Patchy fog in the morning burns off quickly. The extended forecast, a 40% chance for showers on Friday. And looks like we'll see a nice weekend, though, with highs in the low 80s. Scott?
All right, Bob, thank you. In Suncoast Traffic Watch, we're seeing traffic backed up on I-75 northbound lanes right between Bee Ridge and Fruitville Road, slow going at this hour. Haley?
Thank you, Scott. In Health News tonight, 2 new studies have found genetic changes and variants linked to the development of brain and ovarian cancers. Researchers looked at the genomes of tens of thousands of people with and without these forms of cancer. They found 13 new gene mutations linked to an increased risk of glioma, the most common form of brain cancer, and 12 new gene types that increase the risk of developing ovarian cancer. These discoveries can help develop treatment and predict if someone is at a greater risk for getting these cancers. The medical benefits of breastfeeding for helping newborns fight infections and helping preterm infants get stronger are fairly well established, but the long-term impact is less so. A new study published in the journal Pediatrics finds that breastfeeding has little impact on long-term cognitive development and behavior, while the researchers found that children who were breastfed for 6 months or more did have lower rates of hyperactivity and improved problem-solving skills at 3 years old. Those differences were negligible by the time the child turned 5. Coming up, a boy trapped in a crevice on a cliff, how a firefighter was able to reach the child and get him down safely. Plus, a flying highway hazard. A family's road trip is interrupted by this wild turkey slamming right through their windshield.
I'm calling in regards about my mother, and I'm here, and I just want to thank you because it saved my mother's life yesterday. And I'd like to know the names of the people that came in and saved her so I could call and thank them. And she's doing fine. It's a wonderful thing. Thank you.
When you fall and cannot get up, an accident can turn into a tragedy. But with Life Alert, one touch of a button can get you help fast. Life Alert saves a person from a catastrophe every 10 minutes.
Life Alert is a lifesaver. If it weren't for Life Alert, I wouldn't be sitting here today.
For a free Life Alert brochure, call 1-800-962-4112. That's 1-800-962-4112. Call now, 1-800-962-4112. For a free brochure, call 1-800-962-4112.
A unique celebration of a distinctive cultural gem in Sarasota. La Musica, the annual International Festival of Chamber Music, with renowned musicians from 4 continents. April 3rd through April 12th at the Sarasota Opera House and at Sainer Pavilion. Buy your tickets now.
The Sarasota Film Festival is March 31st through April 9th, featuring independent films from around the world, panels, parties, and conversations with stars, all happening in downtown Sarasota.
You don't want to miss it, so get your festival guide and choose the films and events you want to attend.
Buy your tickets online, by phone, or at the Hollywood 20 box office. They go fast, so get them now.
So join us to see and be seen.
When it comes to drinking, what do you think moderation is? The U.S. Dietary Guidelines define moderation as up to 1 drink a day for women and up to 2 drinks a day for men. So what's a drink? The guidelines say a drink equals 12 ounces of beer, 5 ounces of wine, or a cocktail with 1.5 ounces of distilled spirits. Each contains the same amount of alcohol. Like to learn more? Visit drinkinmoderation.org.
Check out My Suncoast Dining on mysuncoast.com for Chef Judy's favorite recipes, cooking tips and trends, dining blogs, step-by-step videos, and Suncoast Restaurant Guide. You'll find it all at mysuncoast.com/dining. The official Suncoast Storm team at ABC7. We're here for you.
A firefighter in northwest China risked his life to help save a boy who was hanging on a cliff. The boy was playing with 2 other boys on Sunday when he fell off the cliff. Fortunately, he was caught in a crevice about 100 feet above the ground. But because it was so steep, firefighters could not use a ladder to reach the boy. So one firefighter climbed to the top of the cliff to fix one end of a rope there before descending slowly. The firefighter then attached the rope to the boy and signaled firefighters on top of the cliff to lower them both down to the ground safely. A New Jersey family is a bit shaken but okay after a 30-pound wild turkey crashed right through their windshield. John Tarabakia was driving along a road in Indiana with his son Ian and in the passenger seat, and then his wife and his mother in the back seat when that turkey came crashing into the front of the car. Glass shattered everywhere, but he was able to wrestle the rental car to the side of the road.
The rearview mirror broke off, so I looked at the side mirrors. I got over one lane and I finally pulled it over to the side, and then there was some other vehicles on the other lane that pulled U-turn and came over and assisted us.
As you might imagine, the turkey did not survive the impact. Family members suffered some small cuts.
The Wildlife Conservation Society helped rescue a group of Asian elephants trapped in a mud pit in Cambodia. Over the weekend, 11 Asian elephants got stuck in that mud-filled old bomb crater that dates back to the Vietnam War. The hole's 10-foot walls were too high for the elephants to scale, and as the mud dried, the elephants got further entrenched. Wildlife experts were called in. They eventually put a ramp down so that the elephants were able to walk out. Good ending. A sweet moment at a Texas McDonald's. Jamie Hubbard took her 3-year-old son, TJ, to McDonald's last week, and they ran into a Fort Worth police officer. Hubbard joked about the officer letting TJ on his motorcycle. The officer said he could not do that, but he would make it up to the boy. The officer ran in the rain and grabbed a police badge sticker for TJ. TJ then walked up to the officer, thanked him, and hugged him. I also saw another really cute, I think it was Chick-fil-A maybe. A little girl saw a police officer eating lunch by himself, so she said, or dinner or something like that, and so she said she wanted to go eat with him.
I saw that too.
Very cute.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. We're seeing a lot of those acts across the country.
Good encounters.
People are buying them dinner or lunch. And,
right.
Yeah. Saying they appreciate it.
Yeah, very nice of them. Well, still to come on your Suncoast News, take me out to the ball game. A look at how much money spring training is bringing in to our local economy.
Plus, a new bill that would protect sharks from being killed for their fins. Those stories coming up.
The human spirit's capacity to defy the odds, to push the envelope, is boundless.
Rose takes her volunteering for Tidewell Hospice very seriously. But she knows how to have fun, too. And that's what she brings when we're invited to visit patients as part of Tidewell's pet therapy program. People love to see her. She really brightens their day. She makes people smile. And in end-of-life care, a smile can be a wonderful gift. Tidewell Hospice. It's more than you think.
Fun for the whole family. The 25th Annual Venice Sharks Tooth Festival, benefiting special athletes of Sarasota County. Fossil vendors, arts and crafts, food, children's games, and live entertainment. With headliners, the Gator Creek Band on Friday night, Rockin' Rogues, Kim Betts, Glass Onion, Kettle of Fish, Paisley Craze, and the Boogeymen. Admission $4. Children 12 and under free. Parking is free. The annual Venice Sharks Tooth Festival, April 7th, 8th, and 9th at the Venice Airport Festival grounds.
There's a whole new way to bank at Achieva Credit Union with Achieva Checking Plus. Get new unique features like full ID theft protection and online shopping rewards. Plus, it's an interest-bearing account, so you have a little extra for what really matters. Achieva Checking Plus isn't just an account for your money, it's for your life, including cell phone insurance. And that's good to know. Discover the plus at achievacu.com. Achieva, banking for good. Achieva Credit Union is federally insured by the NCUA.
The human spirit's capacity to defy the odds, to push the envelope, is boundless.